Writing. Have you ever witnessed a moment so powerful that it changed the way you looked at people forever? Childbirth is often remembered for the pain, the fear, and the tears. But sometimes, in the middle of those hardest moments, a single act of kindness becomes the memory that lasts a lifetime. This is not just a story about a baby being born. It is a story about strangers becoming family, hope replacing fear, and how one simple decision to care for another person created a ripple that no one expected. Stay with me until the very end, because this emotional journey reminds us that kindness is often the greatest gift we can ever give. Some moments only last a few minutes, but their impact can last forever. Before we begin, if you enjoy heartfelt stories that restore your faith in humanity, please subscribe to Kindness Waves, like this video, and leave a comment sharing a kind moment that changed your life. Your support helps us continue bringing stories that inspire millions of people every day. Emma was 30 years old and expecting her first baby. She had watched countless birth videos, read parenting books, and carefully packed her hospital bag weeks before her due date. She thought she was ready for everything. But when labor finally began, she quickly realized that no book could prepare her for the reality of bringing a child into the world. The contractions started early in the morning. At first they felt manageable, but within hours they became stronger and closer together. Every wave of pain took her breath away. Her husband, Daniel, held her hand as they drove to the hospital, trying to stay calm even though he was just as nervous. When they arrived, the nurses welcomed them with warm smiles. One nurse, named Sarah, immediately noticed how frightened Emma looked. Instead of rushing through the paperwork, Sarah gently squeezed Emma's shoulder and said, "You're stronger than you think. We'll be with you every step of the way." Those simple words eased Emma's fear. As labor continued, the hours felt endless. Emma cried, laughed, and sometimes wondered if she could keep going. Every contraction seemed harder than the last. Daniel never left her side. He wiped away her tears, encouraged her to breathe, and reminded her that every painful moment was bringing them closer to meeting their baby. Late that evening, labor became even more difficult. Emma was exhausted. She whispered that she wanted to give up. She felt like she had nothing left. Sarah looked into her eyes and smiled. "You don't have to be perfect," she said softly. "You only have to take one breath, then another. We'll do the rest together." Those words gave Emma just enough strength to continue. Outside the delivery room, another family was going through their own difficult day. A young couple had arrived unexpectedly with almost nothing prepared for their newborn baby. They were worried about how they would afford diapers, baby clothes, and the basic supplies every newborn needs. One of the hospital volunteers overheard their conversation. Without asking for recognition, she quietly contacted a local community group. Within hours, several people arrived carrying baby blankets, tiny clothes, diapers, bottles, and even a handmade teddy bear. The young mother burst into tears. She couldn't believe complete strangers would care so much. Watching this happen reminded everyone in the hallway that kindness often appears exactly when people need it most. Back inside Emma's room, the final stage of labor had begun. The doctors encouraged her to push. Every second felt overwhelming. Daniel held her hand tightly while Sarah continued speaking calmly through every contraction. Then, after one final push, the room suddenly filled with the beautiful cry of a newborn baby. Time seemed to stop. Emma and Daniel looked at each other with tears streaming down their faces. Their daughter had finally arrived. The nurses gently placed the tiny baby on Emma's chest. Her little fingers wrapped around her mother's hand as if she already knew she was safe. Emma forgot every painful contraction. All she could see was the tiny life she had waited so long to meet. Daniel couldn't stop crying. He kissed both his wife and daughter, overwhelmed with gratitude. For several quiet minutes, nobody spoke. The room was filled with nothing but love. The next morning, Sarah visited Emma one last time before her shift ended. She carefully showed the new parents how to swaddle the baby, feed her, and comfort her whenever she cried. She answered every question with patience, never making them feel embarrassed for asking. Before leaving, Sarah smiled warmly. "Remember," she said, No parent knows everything on the first day. Love your baby, ask for help when you need it, and trust yourselves. Emma never forgot those words. As the family prepared to leave the hospital, they noticed something unexpected. A small gift bag was waiting beside the baby's car seat. Inside were handmade baby blankets, tiny socks, a handwritten congratulations card, and a note that simply read, "Every baby deserves to enter a world filled with kindness." There was no signature. No one ever discovered who had left the gift, but it reminded Emma and Daniel that goodness still exists everywhere. Months passed, and baby Lily grew stronger every day. Emma often thought about everyone who had helped during those unforgettable hours. The nurses, the doctors, the volunteer, and even the anonymous person who left the gift had all become part of her daughter's birth story. Instead of simply remembering their kindness, Emma decided to pass it forward. She organized a neighborhood donation drive for new parents struggling to afford baby supplies. Friends donated diapers, formula, blankets, and clothing. Local businesses joined the effort. Soon hundreds of families received help. Emma realized something beautiful. The kindness shown to her family had multiplied far beyond one hospital room. Years later, Lily asked her mother what happened on the day she was born. Emma smiled. She told her about the pain, the fear, the first cry, and the incredible people who made one of the hardest days of her life feel filled with hope. Then she said something Lily would remember forever. "The day you were born taught me that kindness is stronger than fear. People may forget what you say or what you own, but they never forget how you make them feel." As Lily grew older, she carried those words with her. She looked for opportunities to help classmates, comfort lonely neighbors, and volunteer in her community. One act of kindness during her birth had quietly shaped the person she would become. Life will always bring difficult moments. There will be days filled with uncertainty, pain, and challenges we never expected. But there will also be people willing to hold our hand, offer encouraging words, or simply remind us that we are not alone. Kindness does not erase hardship. It gives us the strength to keep moving through it. And sometimes, the smallest gesture becomes the greatest miracle in someone's story. If this story touched your heart, remember that you have the power to become the reason someone smiles today. A kind word, a helping hand, or a moment of compassion may change a life in ways you'll never fully understand. Thank you for spending this time with Kindness Waves. Until next time, keep believing in the goodness of people, keep sharing hope wherever you go, and never underestimate the incredible power of kindness.